Hey, Michael J.
So let's start with our preview card. It's a re-release, but it's a good one.
Yeah. Do you like card advantage, man? Or situational card advantage?
I like all different kinds of card advantage. I don't even need literal card advantage. Like, virtual card advantage is good for me. You know, sometimes card advantage. But yeah, I'll take regular card advantage also.
Village Rites is back, and I've always liked this card anyway, because, you know, they've been doing these kind of cards for a while at 2 mana, and it's just awesome that they're finally making one price to move, because it plays really well. It's really sweet in the games, you know?
Oh yeah, and this has been, you know, a staple card in Standard as well as Historic, right? In decks that want to sacrifice things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just to remind everybody, Village Rites is B for an instant. This version is an uncommon from Strixhaven. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. So,
and it's kind of it's also a little interesting in the context of a couple of the Planeswalkers that they revealed today. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but are these 2 Planeswalkers are part of the pre-con decks, right?
Are they?
Like, I thought so, but I'm not sure. Like, this Professor Onyx.
Professor Onyx seems too good to be in the pre-con deck to me.
Really?
I think
okay.
This card's good.
Let's talk through it. So it's Professor Onyx is 4BB, legendary Planeswalker Liliana, with 5 loyalty. Its passive, it's another 4 ability card. Its passive is Magecraft, which is basically just spells out what it does, which is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Now, this passive is the part that everybody's going nuts about. But beyond that, there's the +1. You lose 1 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. The -3, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. And the -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times.
6? That's a lot, man. All right, so let's break this
So talk me
down.
through this card. Yeah, talk me through Professor Onyx.
So, just to start with, for 6 mana, she is a little light in the loyalty, right? So, we have some precedent for 6 mana Lilianas being pretty good in Standard, but not at 5 loyalty. So I will concede, 6 starting loyalty on, the Dread Horde one from a few summers ago, but put that aside for a second. So this is a Liliana despite being named Professor Onyx, which I don't know the lore, but this actually makes me want to read the lore. I'm just like, oh, what happened here?
If you want to read the lore, fortunately for you, you already can.
Nice.
It's Harry Potter and Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
Well, I specifically wanted to know what happened with Liliana, who's a character that I have liked to play with sometimes. Anyway, so let's set aside the Magecraft, because that is very exciting to me. Let's set aside that one for a second, right?
Okay.
So there's this +1 ability, which in the abstract, I don't like it, because I don't like, all right, here's my +1, here's my card advantage kind of card draw ability, and I'm already losing life. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, but this is like a pretty good card drawing ability, right? Especially if you build your deck in a certain way that might take a benefit from having cards in the graveyard, right? So I do think that is counterbalanced by the Magecraft ability that I said I wanted to put aside for a second. So you're fueling your hand, you're really fueling your graveyard, and, losing a life stinks, but, you have this counterbalancing ability. The -3 ability is, I think that's full-on fine for a
6 casting cost Planeswalker that ends up on 2 loyalty.
It's fine. I don't think that it's good, but I think that there are Planeswalkers that don't defend themselves very well. This one can defend itself. And, the last one, I love this ultimate. I love ultimates that can kill people. And this one can... This is going to leave somebody bereft at a minimum.
Okay, so talk to me about the Magecraft then that we set aside.
Okay, so...
Because you're not selling me on this card from the 3 abilities.
So here's the thing. This ability is such that if you get Professor Onyx in play and you untap with Professor Onyx in play, Professor Onyx's +1 can help fuel that Magecraft, and you could just build a deck that is just playing around this, and it's so seamless. Like, I hate to put it this way because it's going to sound like a bit of an exaggeration, but it's like a High Tide deck, right? Like, a High Tide deck was just this beautiful harmony of drawing cards and generating other advantages, mana advantages, etc.
Why do you need a 6-cost permanent before you do everything?
I don't need it before I do everything. It's just, I just win with it. I win with it while...
Well, no, you can't, because you can't use it at the end. This isn't like Tendrils of Agony. Tendrils of Agony, you can do 9 things and then you play Tendrils and you win.
So
this one, nothing counts until after you play it. And it costs 6.
Obviously, I have to have it in play, right? It is the opposite of a Tendrils of Agony or a High Tide deck. But you, of all people, must appreciate untapping with a powerful Planeswalker in play.
I do, but that's part of the reason I don't like this card.
You are a person who likes that more than me. I'm just thinking, this is like one of these cards where you can say, I'm literally just going to build my deck to be all card drawing and permission and removals and advantage generating stuff. And this thing, which is part of my engine, this card drawing
card. The 6-cost Planeswalker. Yeah.
It's just there, and I'm just going to gain even more advantages while it's in play. And that's why I thought about it kind of like...
Unlike other 6-cost Planeswalkers.
No, other 6-cost Planeswalkers, like... I think, like, Liliana Dreadhorde General, like, I lost to that card, sure. But, like, you know, it was just this thing that was in play, and, you know, I had to try to beat it. And it would kill my creatures sometimes, and it would make zombies sometimes, but it was really just a permanent play. This, I think, is like a powerful Mage's Tower in the middle of an otherwise flat field, and it is everything circling around it. It's drawing you into more removal that is just feeding this life drain ability. That's how I see it. I don't know. I'm very excited to play this card. I think it is cool.
You're very excited to play this card, huh?
I could be wrong.
It is cool. It's undeniably cool.
I could be wrong.
And the art is going to inspire some super dope cosplay. But, okay, let's look at it through a different lens, if we could. It's the same lens, but we don't just hand wave numbers. So to start with, how good is you lose a life and then you strategize? Well, you lose a life and then you strategize. Not worth 2 mana. Certainly meaningfully less good than a draw 2, right? But like,
I don't know. Like, you
getting one of the top 3 and losing a life?
I don't like losing a life in general. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not talking about whether you like losing life, dude. I'm just talking about the amount of rate, the amount of material. Divination is not as strong as strategic plannings, but strategic plannings cost a mana less. Night's Whisper is stronger than strategic plannings. Night's Whisper costs 2 life. This costs 1 life the other way. This is not even close to as good as a draw 2. 6-cost Planeswalkers always have like look at Liliana Dreadhorde General. The +1 is getting a 2/2 black zombie, which is at least worth a card, but whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. So the zombie you made is implied a second card, but also all the cards you already have are that.
Yeah, that's a powerful Planeswalker.
And it starts at more loyalty. But all right, let's look at the next ability. -3. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. Well, it can be contextually better. However, this ability that puts you at 2 loyalty compared to Liliana Dreadhorde General's ability that puts you at 2 loyalty. Which do you like better? Each player sacrifices 2 creatures? Or each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control?
I don't think it's a fair question, because if I'm sacrificing 2 creatures, I'm also drawing 2 cards.
Oh, you're right.
It's
lopsided.
You forgot to add that part.
Well, no, I didn't need to, because each player sacrifices 2 creatures is a more powerful effect even if we don't count the passives. But when you count the passive, it's off the charts. It's not close. All right, so let's look at the ultimates. They both need the same number of turns to tick up. And, they both are extremely powerful. All right, what about the passives? Well, this one is definitely very, very attractive. It doesn't have an immediate effect on the board, and even if you get to untap with this powerful permanent, it doesn't help you that much, right? Like, is it really actually doing that much?
I think so. I think if you're untapping with Professor Onyx and you're just like the kind of person who plays like a bunch of opts, right? Like, you could just murder them with it. It's awesome. Isn't it? Like, you just kill their guy, nug you for 2, gain 2, draw a card, nug you for 2, gain 2, -1, find more things to keep doing that. Like, draw 2, so I have even more things to keep the velocity going, nug you for 2. That's, like, the +1, which is the -1 life, and then, like, bury some cards, and I only get 1 card. Yeah, you
don't really want to opt anyway with this card, though, do you? I mean, yeah, you do, but you don't really.
When I say opt, I mean do things that cost 1, draw a card, keep it going, cost 1.
I don't know. Wouldn't you rather do things that cost 4? Like, specifically Cling to Dust? Cling to Dust is pretty sweet with this card, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
Not
real
only
good.
do you get to keep proccing the triggers, you can, like, gain a ton of life quickly, or you can be drawing multiple cards a turn, or, like, set many multiple cards a turn, and the +1 on Professor Onyx is milling you extra cards to pay for the escape of Cling to Dust.
Yeah, I was thinking that you can just cheat, right? Like, you +1 Professor Onyx, put the Cling to Dust in the graveyard instead of your hand. You get it both ways. That's cool. I'm into that. When I said opt, I mean, like, the concept to me of a card that costs very little mana and is like, just getting me into another card is just what I was kind of evoking there.
Of course, and I'm just trying to take you all the way to the end point, the thing you're looking for. Let's just go to the stuff that's the most extreme versions of that, and you're not close. Why would this be good, dude? For 6 mana in current standard? What would you play this in?
You just make a new deck. Make like a mono black.
Make a new deck around this.
Mono black or a blue black deck. Yeah. Mono black or blue black deck that's just chock full of card drawing and removal. It tops up on Professor Onyx. If you just kill all their stuff and play before you cast it. No?
Do you think this card is better or worse than Ob Nixilis? The 5 mana Ob Nixilis that had you could lose a life and draw a card, and you could kill an opponent's creature, and you could do an ultimate that's really powerful. But Ob Nixilis cost 5 and didn't have Magecraft.
I don't remember ever playing that Ob Nixilis.
I played it. It was okay.
It seems like it was okay to me, but I don't remember.
It was okay. It cost 5. It was okay. So,
yeah, but I mean, I think like, all right, so what's dominating in Standard right now? Is this good against a ramp deck? Could be, right? If some of their cheap cards, no. What if I dress you and then I cast this?
So, not good. Why would this be good against a ramp deck? Is this good against Vorinclex?
I guess.
Is that the plan? No, it's not.
You can't stop somebody from top decking.
What about Emergent Ultimatum? Are you going to just play this before they play Emergent Ultimatum?
Well, they do kind of outpower you, including on Planeswalker.
Is your plan that you're going to get this into play because you're going to use Emergent Ultimatum?
No.
No.
It's not fair. If I'm going to do that, I got to do fancier than that, right?
Well, not necessarily. You can just go get Vorinclex and Alrund's Epiphany.
I mean, that is the definition of fancy.
Okay, dude. What about against aggro? Do you like this against aggro? The 6-mana kill spell? Maybe you like it against blue-white control. That's where it shines.
No,
right?
it's the worst against blue-white control. This thing is going to eat a saw coming.
Maybe
100%
what
of
you
the
want
time,
is against like a fast white aggro deck with Ray Danes. Being able to actually just make this card cost 8. That's the plan?
No, I would kill the Verdane first. That's the whole point is that this is in a different context of a deck. It's not just a rate question. When you look at like big things, you can't just be like, oh, well, what's the rate of this thing? Well,
I'm saying this isn't even big. You do need to know what the rate is. You absolutely do. It's not like this card just takes over the game. I'm not saying this isn't a bunch of useful abilities. I'm just trying to, and maybe the world's different. Maybe there's some 2-card combo exploit, and it's just I mean, 6-mana Splinter Twin. I don't know.
It is it is a difficult way to get there on a storm kill. I'll bet it'll help you, but it's not easy.
If you don't want to evaluate rate, and you don't want to look at contexts,
I do want to look at context.
Okay,
I'm just saying,
who is this card good against? Say it's perfect in your deck, right?
Yeah.
It's great in your deck. Who is it even good against? What's a single strategy that this card is good against?
Are you saying that it's just arbitrary? Like, if it's good in my deck, anything would be good in those same situations?
No, I'm saying it's not that it's arbitrary. I'm saying that even if it's good in your deck, random would be better.
Like random finisher?
Like, yes, because many random finishers have contextual applications where they're good. And presumably your opt strategic plannings type of deck has some amount of selection. And so you can sometimes play the one that's good in a particular spot. Who is Professor Onyx good against in Standard? I'm not saying it's not a bunch of abilities. I'm just saying that for 6 mana, I'm trying to imagine where is this good against the Elspeth Conquers Death Yorion decks?
Oh no, it is very bad against that. That's the worst place. It's horrible there. I don't know if you want to ever cast it in that situation. It's just going to die.
What about Mono Blue? Is that where it's good?
No, Mono Blue would shred any deck that played this.
What about Rakdos Sacrifice? That's got to be the one, right?
No, because making them sacrifice their best guy is actually just saving them a card.
Like, obviously, if you just have this 6-cost Planeswalker in play in your head, it does accomplish things. It does things that are good. It's just that none of this is at all what you're looking for in Standard at all, to say nothing of the rate. Like, if the rate was good enough, I'd be in anyway, even though this is not what I'm looking for. But, like, the rate's really bad, and it has not really bad. We gotta, like, let's call a spade for a spade. At the end of the day, it's a 6-cost. It's a mythic Planeswalker that's, like, better than most Magic cards. But, like, our standard is really high for expensive finishers these days,
Oh, yeah, I agree. This is clearly not as good as other 6-mana Lilianas that have been played.
Or, for instance, Sorin, the 6-cost Sorin, both 6-cost Sorins.
I love that 6-cost Sorin.
Which one? The mono black one?
Yeah, the original, the BBB one.
Yeah, I would take the mono black one in a heartbeat over this card.
Yeah, that one was a murderer, though. No one lived through that.
And I'm certainly taking the black white one. But
the black white one won a Pro Tour, right?
Hell yeah, dude. The mono black one came in second at the most skill testing Grand Prix of all time.
Were you playing the mono black one?
Okay. But dude, okay, so you are a big buyer on Professor Onyx. And I could not be colder.
Wow, so
I think the card is sweet. It's undeniably sweet. The flavor's sweet. The art is sweet. There's a lot to like. All the abilities are sweet. Hell, when they make a card that's like most of these abilities but costs less in the future and in a context where these abilities are good, this card is going to be so cool.
Like, if they made the same card but it cost 3 and had 3 loyalty, it would be, like, insane, right?
Well, yeah. But it doesn't even have to be that far off. What I mean is that, like, if this card cost 5 and Standard was just, like, a different cut. Like, there's a lot of Standards where this card at 5 would be really good.
Yeah, it's just...
This is the wrong Standard. All Standards in the foreseeable future are the wrong Standard. And it costs 6, not 5.
Yeah, Elspeth Conquers Death is too good against this.
At 4, this card would kick butt in Standard. This Standard. It would be good in this Standard if it costs 4. You can take a loyalty off. In this Standard,
you would have to take more than 1 loyalty off.
No, it wouldn't be good if you took 2 loyalty off.
Really?
Even if maybe it would, but I don't think so. It'd take a weird deck. You'd have to exploit the top ability. Like, it'd have to be about the top ability instead of its real abilities. But, although I don't know. That +1's pretty good. But, like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty cool on this one. Hopefully there's a different Professor Onyx in this set, and that this is just a pre-con card for the theme deck.
Well,
but what do I know? Maybe it's the real deal, and I'm just messing it up, and this is somehow supposed to be the sweetest card in this set besides all of the other ones.
Yeah, I feel like when you mentioned both blue-white control and then in a different sentence, Elspeth Conquers Death, and then also mono blue, I was just like, man, those aren't even the real popular decks, and I can't imagine this card ever resolving against any of them unless they wanted to Elspeth Conquers Death in.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I don't think it's not a great time for this card. But this isn't the only new Planeswalker. There is also the newest Kasmina, and if you remember, Kasmina was the 27th best Planeswalker in War of the Spark. But Kasmina is back, and this time with the always exciting blue-green costs. You know, one blue-green. Read me through Kasmina Enigma Sage's abilities. 1
blue-green legendary Planeswalker Kasmina. 2 starting loyalty. So not a generous loyalty count on this card either. Like Professor Onyx, Kasmina has 4 abilities. One of them is this passive. Each other Planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina Enigma Sage. So if you like these abilities and you have other Planeswalkers, they too can use them. So +2 is Scry 1. -X is create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it. And then -8 is search your library for an instant or sorcery spell that shares a color with the Planeswalker. Exile that card, then shuffle, and then you can cast that card without paying its mana cost. So it's kind of cool, like if you've got like a Professor Onyx, and Professor Onyx is borrowing Kasmina's -8 ability, she can cast a black spell, for example.
As opposed to dealing 21 damage to your opponent.
Yeah. I mean, if you were in the zone of that, yeah. But it's just, I guess that's for flavors. I don't know. Do you think the card would be too good if they didn't have that color restriction? Because I don't.
I think it's more interesting this way, though. I think it's really cool because it gives you another way to make your Planeswalkers' attributes matter.
Yeah.
So I think it's a better design the way that they did it. But what do you think, man?
I don't hate it. I'm not nearly as excited by this card as Professor Onyx, and apparently Professor Onyx is not going to be as good as I initially thought. One thing that's good about Kasmina being blue-green 1 is in certain decks you could just get it out on turn 2. That's the first thing that my head went to. I'm not super excited about +2 Scry 1, but that's fine, especially if you get it out early. I think that the passive is I don't know, kind of a non-ability. And then
What? The passive is a non-ability?
You like the passive?
Are you out of your mind? That is the card. The passive that's the whole thing. That's the deal. All of the other abilities are just an extension of the passive. All of them. So the +2 to Scry 1, the Scry 1 that's so trivial. The real ability is that Kasmina can give +2 to any other planeswalker. You can just have a planeswalker that doesn't normally gain loyalty. Like, take Narset, for instance. Narset's supposed to just go down 2 at a time. If you have Kasmina, your Narset can go up 2 every turn. You can use Narset forever.
That's crazy when you put it that way.
Yeah. Plus, some of those planeswalkers from War of the Spark that don't tick up naturally. Take, like, Huatli the Sun's Heart. Huatli the Sun's Heart has the, like, Doran thing going on. Like, each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And then it has this -3 ability. You gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. But Huatli wasn't go up and is intended to only have a dinky ability. But, like, if you actually have Kasmina, you can go +2 to put it at 9, and then the very next turn you can ultimate it with the -8 ability that it has because of Kasmina. And so, like, if you're able to ultimate this card, like, you can go get something else really big. Or even, like, okay, so first of all, obviously Narset every turn is super awesome, but, like, the ability to -8, take, for instance, those Gideons that just get tons of loyalty, right? Whether you're using Gideon Jura, who gets just crazy loyalty to start with in every turn, or the Gideon who gets loyalty because of your life total or your number of creatures. Like, all those cards
tons of loyalty, nothing to do with it, right?
Right. But -8, this is an unreal ultimate. I mean, it's really good, right? It's really, really good. And so if you can just go play a card from your deck, it's like, depending on what format you're playing, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just go put Ionia into play. Like, you get to just search your deck for any card of that color and play it for free. It's a Demonic Tutor, Mind's Desire. Like, that's super duper duper good. And then, like, so +2 doesn't just power up planeswalkers that don't have plus abilities to begin with. It also powers up planeswalkers faster than they're intended to. So if you have planeswalkers that have really good ultimates, you can just get them to their really good ultimate twice the speed. Right?
I see that.
And then the wild card ability is that it lets you convert planeswalkers that have tons of loyalty, or even a medium amounts of loyalty, like the Huatli and Narset. You can convert planeswalkers that just have extra loyalty into creatures, right? Like, you don't have to. You can just go all the way and straight up convert them, but you can also leave them with a loyalty so that they keep going. But, like, if you have a second copy of the planeswalker anyway, you can just cash in your Huatli and get a 7/7. And in fact, you don't have to wait. You can just have the Huatli in play. Like, you can not even just have Huatli in play. You could have Kasmina in play. It doesn't matter which one you play first. Your Huatli is just a 3-mana 7/7 with upside. Like, I don't know, man. This ability has so many different applications. Plus, like, there's lots of little synergies. Like, one, they're calling out Fractal Creature. That's a new creature type. Maybe it has tribal implications, right? Like, it is a new creature type. Second, it's green and blue, and it has +1/+1 counters. So there's already +1/+1 counter synergy. And it's not like there isn't interplay between Walker loyalty manipulation and +1/+1 counter manipulation anyway, right?
Sure.
So, I don't know. And it only costs 3? Like, yeah?
So it sounds like you like this one, Kasmina Enigma Sage, much more than Professor Onyx.
Oh, yeah. No, I like Professor Onyx. Not to play with or win with. But, like, Professor Onyx I like for the flavor and the vibe and the art and the implication. But I don't think its rate's that good, and I think contextually it's not what I'm thinking that I want. I would love to want it, sort of. I don't know how much I would want to want that top ability. I mean, I want it, but I don't want to want it, and so it's kind of convenient that I don't want it. But like Kasmina, Enigma Sage, this one's fun to think about, man. This is some wild stuff. Dude, it's going to be so sick when it turns out that Professor Onyx is not the book card. It's just not even close to good. Or alternatively, it is the book card, and I'm just like crazy, and this card is somehow actually just the second coming of Liliana.
Well, it's like the 15th coming of Liliana.
Kasmina Enigma Sage, man. The abilities here, is that even like the extent of it? There's got to be other options. Like, what about... let's see. What are some of the things you can do? There's crazy stuff, right? What about Kiora Behemoth Beckoner? Like, that's got to be good, right? Or Ajani the Great-Hearted?
I mean, I don't even know these planeswalkers, Patrick. Like, I'm thinking, like, all right, you got my gears turning. Can we put Kasmina Enigma Sage into, like, one of those planeswalker control decks? You know, the ones that had, like, the interplanar beacon, like those kind of decks? Like, all right, we can fix our mana. We can get these all together. This actually makes a little sense to me now. You know, we can pair her up with Sarkin, that kind of stuff. So that, I think, I could see that. I could see, like, getting people's loyalties up fast so they can ultimate, you know, make a lot of dragons, make people, discard their hand and take 21. I think that...
Discard their hand and take 21?
Yeah, both.
Nah, man. Nah. Then you'd have to have that card in your deck.
You do. Maybe you can utilize Kasmina's -8 ability with some other black planeswalker in play to get Professor Onyx, and then utilize Kasmina's +2 ability to get Professor Onyx to get high enough loyalty faster in order to do that. That would be exciting.
So Kiora, Kiora is kind of an interesting one here, right? Like, Kiora is starting at 7 loyalty already. All these cards that are starting so close to being able to be used for ultimates here. Because, like, think of it this way. So Ajani the Greatheart is the one that lets you boost the loyalty of your other planeswalkers. And you could alternatively have, any, like the Oath or Proliferate on one of the flyers or whatever. But, like, if you just... All these planeswalkers that cost 3... The reason that... so Huatli's cool, but I think the reason that I like Kiora is being able... Like, there's some blue cards that just make you win, right? Like, Enter the Infinite.
Sure.
Or Time Stretch.
So if you had Kiora Behemoth Beckoner, that card has 7 loyalty to start. It costs 3. It has no way to tick up naturally, but you could just use this card's +2 to get it to 9, like in one turn.
Or, right, if you don't have anything else, if you just have no other pieces.
Then you could just, I don't know, go get some awesome blue card. Or awesome green card. There are powerful green cards.
Definitely. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, being able to just play a card for free out of your deck, there's, like, some real win condition stuff possible, right? And you can set some of this stuff up. Like, you know that Sissy Weatherlight Captain deck we were talking about a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
Like, Sissy can pull the whole chain together, right?
Yeah, I mean... I was thinking, like, maybe a simpler chain, like, right? Like, so Kiora Behemoth Beckoner is like a Simic hybrid mana in 2. And, like, you could just play... I don't know, maybe this is too crazy of a stretch. What if you played both of those cards in a deck that had, like, elves, and which would allow them to come out faster, and, for sake of argument, like, Craterhoof Behemoth? Like, you could just get a card like Craterhoof Behemoth really easily pairing those two things together. And the Kiora is actually not bad as a kind of mana acceleration piece, right?
Yeah, and I can imagine such a deck having some creatures that actually proc the card draw ability.
So, I don't know. It seems like an awkward way to do it in a creature deck. But I think that, like, I agree. In a Planeswalker control deck, I think there are a lot of possibilities. But I think that, weirdly, what you want to get with your now 8+ loyalty Planeswalkers is actually weirdly the choke, right? You're like, all right, I can imagine, like, okay, we can play, like, maybe not Professor Onyx, but maybe other Lilianas or Sarkins or Gideons or Chandras, whoever we're, like, middle turning, kind of lacing it together with removal cards, yada yada yada. Then, like, what do I want to do when I get
what
big?
Removal cards? Why are you just thinking about removal cards, man?
You guys,
why would you want any removal cards?
You need to keep your guys alive. You need to keep you alive.
Why do you have guys? Your Planeswalkers?
Your Planeswalkers, yeah.
Make your Planeswalkers play with, like, first of all, you could have some sweepers, I guess, but, like, have your Planeswalkers be, like, Necrotals and stuff, man. What about the Chain Veil?
The Chain Veil?
Yeah, the Chain Veil, man.
Like the evil artifact that Liliana used to gain her necromantic abilities. I know that from the lore. I read 2 of the books.
So if you have the Chain Veil, you can use your Planeswalker's abilities twice a turn. So you can just, like, play Kiora, then tick up with +2 because of this, and then use the ultimate, and then go play whatever blue or green card from your deck for free.
I don't know, Patrick. This is like a real clunky way to do it. Like the other cards, I think all work okay. The Chain Veil costs 4, right? We were talking about the raid on Professor Onyx before. I understand this is 2 less, but it doesn't do anything, right? This is what it does for 4 mana. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life. Congratulations. And then, to do the doubling ability, which is for each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn, which is a very powerful ability, especially if you have multiple Planeswalkers in play, but it costs an additional 4.
All right, what about Teferi, Master of Time?
That one I'm into.
So Teferi, Master of Time has this ability that you can activate loyalty abilities of Teferi on any player's turn anytime you can play an instant. Normally, Teferi only ticks up 1 at a time, but you can have Teferi tick up 2 at a time. And since Teferi is already moving in double time to begin with, you go +2, he's at 5. On your opponent's turn, he's at 7. On your turn, he goes to 9. And then on your opponent's turn, you can ultimate him with Kasmina's ultimate and go get whatever you want. And if you time stretch when you have Teferi and Kasmina, your opponent's never going to take another turn. But even setting aside time stretch, it doesn't have to be time stretch. It could be anything else. But, dude, Teferi is like a sweet card to have a +2 because you're kind of getting +4 out of it, right?
Not kinda. Like, you are getting +4 out of it. If you had Kasmina in play, then you played Teferi, Master of Time. If you don't get +4, it's because you chose not to, or they killed it on your turn, right? That's it.
So another nice tactical one, by the way, and I hate to keep bringing it back to Kiora, but dude, if you've got Kiora, and Kiora starts at 7 loyalty, you can just go -4 from that -X ability and play a 4/4 off your Kiora, and then draw a card.
I mean,
you still have Kiora.
Why stop at 4?
Because you want to have enough loyalty to do it again soon. I don't know. Kiora is also a mana Accelerator. You don't want to run out of loyalty for no reason.
I mean, you could just
you can make it bigger if you want.
Take it to 6, right? You still keep your Kiora.
Yeah, make a 6/6 if you want. 6/6 draw a card. That's like so good for 3, right?
For 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How do you 6/6 draw a card for 4 would be an outstanding card.
It'd be pretty unreal.
That card would be like staple in. Maybe not Legacy. Certainly staple in Modern.
So one nice thing about all these ones that get green cards is that if one of the green cards you get is Vorinclex, like Vorinclex already makes it so that when you use your Planeswalkers, you get double, right? So like if when you play your Planeswalker, it gets double, it's going to have a -8 ability. Then you just go infinite, right? Where you just can play as many. You can just play as many like you just play every single green Planeswalker you want. They don't even have to all be green. They could be multicolor, so you can start working your way around where your green Planeswalker gets your Kiora, and your Kiora gets your Jace, and as long as they start with like 5 loyalty or more, Narset, that's another. As long as they start with 5 loyalty or more, Vorinclex means you'll play it at 10, then you -8, and then you go get another Planeswalker you don't already have yet, and then it doubles its loyalty, and then it goes to you -8 it also, and you can just get every Planeswalker out of your deck. You don't want a lot of different names.
Also, you have a Vorinclex.
Yeah. I'm guessing you can weave together a win, but you gotta, like, I don't know, man. This, I mean, it doesn't protect itself great.
First of all, it doesn't protect itself nothing though either, right? Like you can make
nothing
a 1/1 to chump block for a turn.
Yeah,
like that. At
that's
that
something.
Point in the game,
it's a 3-cost Planeswalker, man.
That's okay, right? So, what if you said this? 3 mana, 1/1, draw a card, but the card is specifically Black Lotusing out a 1 loyalty Kasmina. That's
right.
Actually not bad, right?
No.
I want a PTQ with the card Wood Elves. Like, Wood Elves is a 3 mana 1/1.
Yeah.
That's actually, the more that I think about it, that's
I'm telling you, dude.
Not bad at all. The 3 mana 1/1 version is, I like it actually. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's a nice. It helps round out the package.
It is so in the range.
It is in the range. And dude, it's not like +2ing is nothing, because it's gonna, like, at 4 loyalty, it's gonna survive a hit from some stuff sometimes, and then you can +2 again, and you've soaked up a lot.
I mean, 3 mana on the play, if you take it up to 4 loyalty, I don't know. I think it has a pretty decent chance of survival, and it might actually have better walk-away loyalty at that point than just -1, right? Could. It depends what they've got.
So what do you think, man? Is there an actual, like, Splinter Twin combo?
I mean, with Professor Onyx?
No, with Kasmina. Because Kasmina it's close, but, like, I'm talking like 2 cards and the other one costs 4 or less. Because Kasmina costs 3. It's your Deceiver Exarch, I guess. But, like, is there a thing that costs 4 or less that when you stack it? Because even if you have Kiora, if all you have is Kiora and Kasmina, it's Splinter Twin on a 1-turn delay. Because, like, you can go, you can, like, spend 1 turn ticking up Kiora, right? And then on the next turn you ultimate and you go get Emergent Ultimatum. I bet when you cast Emergent Ultimatum you win. When you just have Kasmina in play also.
Yeah.
Because, man, like, what if you get Vorinclex as part of your... You want to go get Vorinclex with Emergent Ultimatum anyway. And it's not like you don't want to go get Alrund's Epiphany anyway. Man, you just need another one.
So, I mean, but that's for
you might
standard.
also
But
just go get 3 planeswalkers that have I don't know, man. Maybe you just get Vorinclex and 2 planeswalkers that are unbelievable. But I don't think they can give you Auron's Epiphany. But, dude, actually, hold on a second. If you just go get, if you get Vorinclex with a planeswalker, a blue, black, or green planeswalker that has at least 5 loyalty, like Professor Onyx. But if you go get a planeswalker that has at least 5 loyalty and Vorinclex, they can't give you those 2 because then you just
kill them, right?
you go all the way. You can immersion ultimatum your whole deck, but like everything you want anyway. You get 12 demonic tutors, but like
if you got Vorinclex and Professor Onyx, you would just kill them with Professor Onyx's ultimate ability, wouldn't you?
So, well, no, not if they have cards in their hand. They could just very easily have 7 cards or something, and this is say nothing if they have a board position.
Sure,
but like you go infinite. They can't give you your planeswalker with 5 the 5 loyalty planeswalker and Vorinclex. So they have to give you the other card. But if the other card is like Auron's Epiphany, like Auron's Epiphany and Professor Onyx, that's really good. Or anything else, right?
I love how Professor Onyx is now in all of the kill packages.
Wait. No, you know what? Once we're talking about Kiora anyway, Kiora isn't legal in standard. Once we're going powerful enough for Kiora, let's just skip back to Liliana Dreadhorde General.
Oh, well,
because if you have Liliana Dreadhorde General, not only is she just a better card, but she starts at 6, and if she has the +2 from Kasmina, you can, if you get Auron's Epiphany and Liliana, you can Auron's Epiphany, get 2 birds, Liliana, use Liliana +2 because of Kasmina, you go to 8, and then on your Auron's Epiphany turn, now you're untapped, and you still get to ultimate Liliana while you have Kasmina, and then you just go get another Merchant Ultimatum. So you take infinite turns, like you win, right? So they can't give you Auron's Epiphany or Liliana. And they can't give you Vorinclex and Liliana because then you just can play as many cards from your deck as you want for free, which in this case can involve take as many turns as you want. So then they have to give you Vorinclex and Liliana. No, they can't give you Vorinclex and Liliana because you win. So I guess they have to give you Auron's Epiphany and Vorinclex.
That's not good for them.
But if they give you Vorinclex and Auron's Epiphany, then you activate Kasmina. Because your Kasmina is now going to gain 4 loyalty from the +2 ability. And then when you untap, you can just -8 it. Yeah!
So have you determined there's a Splinter Twin?
There's not. The problem is that Kiora it starts at 7 instead of 9. There's like a 1-turn delay.
So here's my thoughts about Kasmina Enigma Sage. It's way more exciting than I thought it was initially. I guess Professor Onyx is less exciting than I thought it was initially. But my prediction is that this card's main role, if it gets played in Standard, is going to be as a sideboard card for grinding against control decks.
Dude, it's going to be so sick when the main thing you cheat out with this card is Professor Onyx. Awesome, dude. See you next week.
Bye.
Pretend life didn't work so great. Tried to play dredge into jail or hate. Ghostly prison waiting for my untapped phase. Your core trapped in amber stasis days. Lost no out of